Today, Coca-Cola is almost impossible to escape. Its bottles appear in restaurants, supermarkets, cinemas, stadiums, vending machines, and refrigerators across nearly every part of the world. The familiar dark drink is presented as a symbol of happiness, friendship, Christmas, and the American way of life. But Coca-Cola did not begin as an ordinary soft drink. It began inside a 19th-century pharmacy as a mysterious medicinal tonic made with coca leaves, cola nuts, caffeine, and ingredients that its creator hoped could cure exhaustion, headaches, digestive problems, and even addiction. And yes, in its earliest years, the drink's coca extract could contain cocaine. The story of Coca-Cola is not simply the story of a popular beverage. It is a story about drugs, war, aggressive advertising, secret formulas, health concerns, and one of the most powerful marketing machines ever created. Long before Coca-Cola existed, indigenous people in the Andes had been using coca leaves for centuries. At high altitudes, where the air was thin and physical work was exhausting, people chewed coca leaves to reduce fatigue, suppress hunger, and increase endurance. Coca was not originally treated as a party drug or a dangerous white powder. It was a traditional plant with practical, spiritual, and medicinal importance. Thousands of miles away, people in West Africa used another natural stimulant, the cola nut. Cola nuts contained caffeine and were chewed for energy, alertness, and social ceremonies. During the 19th century, Western pharmacists became fascinated by plants such as coca and cola. They believed these exotic ingredients could be transformed into powerful modern medicines. One of those pharmacists was John Stith Pemberton. Pemberton had served as a Confederate officer during the American Civil War. Near the end of the conflict, he was seriously wounded. Like many injured soldiers of the period, he was treated with morphine. Morphine could provide extraordinary pain relief, but it was also highly addictive. Pemberton eventually became dependent on the drug and began searching for something that might help him escape his addiction. As a trained pharmacist, he experimented with different combinations of herbs, stimulants, alcohol, and medicinal extracts. One of his creations was a drink inspired by popular European coca wines. These beverages combined wine with coca leaf extract and were advertised as medicines for fatigue, weak nerves, depression, and numerous other conditions. Pemberton created his own version, blending coca with cola nut and wine. He promoted it as a miraculous tonic. But then the temperance movement began gaining power in Atlanta. Campaigners blamed alcohol for crime, poverty, violence, and the destruction of families. When local restrictions threatened alcoholic drinks, Pemberton needed to remove the wine from his formula. He began experimenting with a non-alcoholic version. In 1886, he created a dark syrup containing coca leaf extract, cola nut flavoring, sugar, caffeine, and several aromatic ingredients. The syrup was taken to a pharmacy in Atlanta, where it was mixed with carbonated water and served from a soda fountain. The new drink was called Coca-Cola. The name came directly from two of its most famous ingredients, coca leaves and cola nuts. The letter K in cola was replaced with a C because the repeated letters looked better in advertising. At first, Coca-Cola was not sold as a refreshing drink to accompany hamburgers or popcorn. It was promoted as a health tonic. Advertisements claimed that it could relieve exhaustion and nervousness. Customers visited pharmacies, sat at soda fountains, and purchased a glass for a few cents. Sales were modest. During its first year, only a small number of glasses were sold each day. Nobody could have predicted that this strange pharmacy mixture would eventually become one of the most recognizable products on Earth. And then there was the cocaine. In the 19th century, cocaine did not carry the same reputation it has today. It appeared in medicines and tonics, and was praised by some doctors as a valuable stimulant. The dangers of dependence, heart problems, and compulsive use were not fully understood by the general public. Because early Coca-Cola used coca leaf extract, the original drink contained cocaine in some form. The exact amount changed as the formula developed, but early customers were drinking more than simple sugar and caffeine. During the beginning of the 20th century, public attitudes toward cocaine became increasingly negative. Reports of addiction and harmful effects became more common. Coca-Cola gradually changed its production process, removing the active cocaine while continuing to use specially processed coca leaves for flavor. By that point, John Pemberton was already losing control of his invention. He was struggling financially, suffering from poor health, and selling pieces of the business to different investors. Pemberton died in 1888, never seeing what Coca-Cola would eventually become. The man who transformed it into an empire was Asa Candler. Candler was a businessman and pharmacist who acquired control of the Coca-Cola formula and brand. He understood that the drink itself was only part of the opportunity. The real power was advertising. Candler placed the Coca-Cola name on signs, clocks, calendars, serving trays, posters, and pharmacy decorations. His company distributed free coupons, encouraging people to try their first glass without paying. Once customers tasted it, many returned to purchase another. This strategy helped turn Coca-Cola from a local medicinal drink into a national product. Instead of waiting for customers to discover it, the company surrounded them with its name. But there was still a major limitation. Coca-Cola was mainly served at soda fountains. To become truly universal, it needed to enter people's homes, workplaces, and travel bags. The solution was bottling. Independent businessmen began receiving permission to bottle and distribute Coca-Cola across different territories. Bottling plants appeared in cities throughout the United States. Soon, customers could purchase Coca-Cola almost anywhere. However, success created another problem. Competitors began selling imitation drinks in similar bottles. Customers could not always tell whether they were buying the original product. The company needed a bottle that people could recognize even in darkness or after it had been broken. Designers created the famous contour bottle with its curved shape and distinctive appearance. The bottle became almost as recognizable as the drink itself. Coca-Cola had transformed from medicine into an identity. During the Second World War, the company's global expansion accelerated dramatically. Coca-Cola's leadership wanted American soldiers to be able to purchase the drink cheaply wherever they were stationed. Bottling equipment and workers followed military forces into foreign countries. For soldiers far from home, the familiar bottle represented normal life. It reminded them of restaurants, cinemas, family gatherings, and the country they had left behind. But the war also produced one of the strangest chapters in the company's history. Coca-Cola already operated in Germany when the conflict disrupted international trade. The German branch could no longer reliably obtain the syrup required to produce the original drink. Instead of closing completely, local managers created a new beverage from ingredients that remained available. This improvised drink eventually became known as Fanta. After the war, Coca-Cola expanded rapidly across Europe and other regions. Factories, delivery trucks, refrigerators, and advertisements carried the brand into new markets. The company did not simply sell a sweet drink. It sold an image. Coca-Cola advertisements connected the product with youth, romance, family, celebration, and happiness. The company's Christmas campaigns helped popularize the now famous image of a cheerful Santa Claus dressed in red and white. Coca-Cola did not invent Santa Claus, but its advertising helped make this version of him internationally recognizable. By the middle of the 20th century, the drink had become a symbol of American consumer culture. However, the product also faced increasing criticism. A standard serving contained large amounts of sugar, along with caffeine and acids. As people began drinking larger portions more frequently, doctors and public health experts became concerned about tooth decay, weight gain, diabetes, and other health problems. The company introduced new varieties, including sugar-free and low-calorie versions, but the original drink remained incredibly popular. Then, in 1985, Coca-Cola made one of the most famous marketing mistakes in business history. Concerned about competition from Pepsi, the company changed the traditional Coca-Cola formula and introduced a sweeter version that became known as New Coke. Customers reacted with anger. Some began storing old bottles. Others contacted the company to complain. For many people, Coca-Cola was not simply a beverage. It was connected to childhood memories, national identity, and family traditions. After only a few months, the company brought back the original formula under a new name, Coca-Cola Classic. The disaster demonstrated something remarkable. The brand had become emotionally powerful enough that customers felt they owned part of it. Today, Coca-Cola is produced on an enormous industrial scale. Giant factories transform water, sweetener, flavoring, and carbon dioxide into millions of bottles and cans moving along high-speed conveyor belts. The company sells hundreds of different beverages around the world. Yet Coca-Cola continues to attract controversy. Critics have questioned the environmental impact of plastic bottles, the amount of water required for production, the marketing of sugary drinks, and the influence of enormous corporations on public health. The drink that began as a supposed medicine is now often criticized for contributing to the very health problems medicine attempts to treat. And that is the dark history behind the famous red label. Coca-Cola began with an injured pharmacist searching for a way to escape morphine addiction. It combined two ancient stimulant plants, was sold as a miracle medicine, contained coca-derived cocaine in its early years, and nearly disappeared before aggressive advertising transformed it into an empire. It traveled with soldiers, inspired the creation of Fanta during wartime isolation, survived one of the biggest product failures in history, and became a symbol recognized by billions of people. Today, when you open a cold bottle of Coca-Cola, you are not simply drinking flavored sugar water. You are tasting the result of ancient plants, medical experimentation, addiction, war, industrial power, and more than a century of brilliant marketing. The formula may be secret, but its history is even stranger than the drink itself.